Welcome back to the Essentially You podcast. I am your host, Dr. Marisa Snyder, and I'm here to help you rock your hormones and feel great in your body so that you can reclaim more energy, vitality, and joy, and become the CEO of your health. Let's jump on in. Last April, about 4.5 months after having my son Kingston, I was heavily promoting my latest book, The EO Menopause Solution, and I had 4 interviews stacked back to back in one day. Now, it was the most interviews I had done in a single day after giving birth, but I really wanted to educate about perimenopause and midlife with other communities, and interviewing on other podcasts is one of the best ways to do that. So I'm in the middle of my second interview that day. The first one went really well. But I'm going to tell you, I was going on almost no sleep for months. And in the middle of answering a question about the 3 phases of perimenopause, I completely forgot what I was saying. Literally mid-sentence, poof, the words disappeared, evaporated into thin air, never came back. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't finish my thought in that interview that I never did 4 interviews in a row for the rest of the year of 2021. My mama brain fog and my crappy word recall got so bad that I started to worry that I had permanent brain fog. Every single day, I would be in the middle of a conversation and poof, I wouldn't be able to recall the next word. I honestly felt like my brain wasn't ever going to recover, especially when it came to pulling words out of thin air. Now, I don't know about you, but have you ever experienced this level of brain fog? Did you ever have that sinking feeling that your brain was never going to be the same after a baby or during perimenopause or after a night or 3 of poor sleep? The struggle is real. Don't I know it? I am barely recovering from sleep deprivation after almost a year and a half. Now, before my mama brain kicked in, I could do 6+ interviews in a day on different subjects, and my brain, it fired on all cylinders. You could ask me any question and I had an answer. That is how fast my brain was functioning. But because brain fog has become my silent struggle for over a year now, I felt it was time to shed light on how hormones can contribute to feeling foggy, forgetful, and unfocused. I often hear from women that brain fog feels so very real around perimenopause, and it's not a coincidence. As our sex hormones shift, our brain shifts too. And it's important to know that there are other hormone players contributing to the word recall issue, or that moment you forget the project you were going to do after you finished the first task. You know what I'm talking about. In today's episode, I want to address the hormones that could be contributing to feeling foggy and unfocused, and what steps you can take to reclaim your brain health, including lifestyle remedies, food, and supplements that can really move the needle quickly. I'm talking quickly, because when you are struggling with brain fog, the only thing you want to do is fix it. So like most of your organ systems, your brain depends on the right balance of hormones in the body to be healthy and to function at its best. Now, when you're under stress, whether physical, chemical, or emotional, your hormone levels suffer and your brain suffers too. Hormone imbalances can leave your brain feeling inflamed and lacking in some of those critical chemicals it needs to thrive, which can make you feel that fatigue, that fogginess, that anxious, being on edge, and then that inability to focus, right? That inability to feel productive. Now, while conventional medicine may tell you that you need medical therapies or that you're going to have to just simply live with how you're feeling, I am here to tell a very different story today, one that empowers you to be the CEO of your health, that uses daily habits to have your brain firing on all cylinders. And if there is someone that you know needs to hear this today, a friend that is struggling with word recall, someone who's forgetting those tasks or wonders where they put their glasses, this is an episode to share today. So you can send it on over via screenshot or shoot them a text so that they have these beautiful recommendations and an understanding of what is going on. So often we are told that we're just crazy for feeling this way and that there's no real reason for it. I'm telling you, there is very much big reasons for it besides our hormones, but today I just want to focus on our hormones. So here are the top hormone imbalances that can lead to brain fog symptoms. The first one I'm going to start with is because this one takes the cake. It's the one that we see causing issues in teenagers, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 70-year-olds. It is the big one. And this is HPA axis deregulation and high cortisol. So your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis is critical to your overall well-being, right? This is your survival mechanism. This is the stress response system. So any imbalance here sends your body into survival mode and upsets the delicate hormone balance that you need to feel your best. Remember, hormones are the first chemical messengers to be thrown off, and when they do, they throw up the white flag with symptoms like cravings, mood swings, brain fog, and exhaustion. Now, for example, when your adrenal glands release excessive amounts of cortisol in response to a chronic stressor, the rest of your body's hormone systems have to go into survival mode too, including not only your adrenals, right? Not only your pancreas for insulin, but also your cardiovascular system, your brain, even your gut. Now, unfortunately, the constant release of cortisol can drive insulin resistance, an imbalance in neurotransmitters like serotonin and GABA, and increase oxidative stress in the brain, leading to feeling overwhelmed, anxious, and forgetful. Not only do you have a greater emotional stress load from raised cortisol in the body, and this alone can make you feel overwhelmed and foggy, but a deregulated HPA axis will make your brain's chemical balance be geared towards survival in the future too. It's like your brain gets stuck playing the same song on a record player over and over and over again. It's stuck in a stress loop. Now, because of this loop, the brain replays that survival moment over and over again, although it's happening to you again and again. This leads to more hormone and neurotransmitter deregulation, and feelings associated with this type of broken record loop are anxiety, overwhelm, anger, depression, and feeling triggered. Hands down, stress is one of the most detrimental ways to wear down our delicate neural pathways and to get us stuck in some unfavorable patterns. Couple this with other hormonal imbalances and the shifts that can happen at different parts of our life that I'm going to be sharing with you today. It's no surprise that a lot of us are feeling foggy, unfocused, stressed, and edgy. The next hormone I want to share with you is one that we often just goes under the radar. We don't see it. And it's a hormone that was under my radar for many years until it really slapped me in the face, and that is the thyroid hormone, your active T3 hormone. So brain fog is a very common complaint from women who are dealing with both hyper and hypothyroidism. And that's because when you have an imbalance of these critical metabolic hormones secreted by the thyroid, it's going to have a profound impact on the way that the brain is functioning. Especially for women with hypothyroid, brain fog is one of the top 5 complaints. It's always, if you're feeling brain foggy, although it can be contributed from a couple different areas, I always recommend having your thyroid looked at just in case. And something to note, symptoms of perimenopause can look very similar to symptoms of low thyroid function. So again, I recommend asking to have a thyroid panel run as early as your mid to late 30s to make sure that you have adequate thyroid hormones, both T4 and T3. Right now, millions of people, especially women, are struggling with low thyroid and have no idea. Doctors are chalking it up to perimenopause or menopause, whatever, right? Or you're tired and stressed. And it's important to be looking at this important hormone. So how does the thyroid imbalance or thyroid hormone issues impact the way the brain functions? To put it simply, your thyroid dictates your metabolism. I call T3 your metabolic gas pedal. Along with T3's ability to process the nutrients you're taking in, any stress on your body that decreases thyroid function makes you less efficient at getting your brain the proper nutrients it needs to function. Unfortunately, your brain is one of the first systems to be affected by a thyroid imbalance, and it can leave you feeling very foggy, very forgetful, and even at times unmotivated. Like you just feel kind of dull. It's kind of how I describe it when you have a low thyroid function. You just are lethargic. Now, thyroid hormones also play an important role in regulating your brain's inflammatory response system and overall ability to think. So your brain will often reflect any inflammation in other areas of the body, particularly your gut, which is directly connected to your thyroid. So you also want to make sure that you are looking at those thyroid levels, I would say at least once a year, and making sure that you're keeping them balanced. Now, if you want a deeper dive on how to support your thyroid, I highly recommend checking out episode 219. I do have multiple episodes on this show regarding thyroid support, but 219 was on how to identify low thyroid function and what labs that you want to immediately request. And then I also go into some great solutions in there as well. So that's the thyroid. It's almost a standalone in its own way, but it is equally as important to the other ones I'm talking about today. This leads me to the third hormone that you've got to have on your radar. And it's the hormone that has been getting special attention from me this last year, and that is insulin. Now, I know that insulin resistance is often associated with prediabetes, cardiovascular disease, and diabetes. And it has a very strong association with Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's has been called type 3 diabetes for this reason. Now, current research points to the strong correlation between insulin resistance and high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease in women in midlife. And over 80% of women over the age of 40 have metabolic dysfunction related to insulin resistance. Now, when it comes to hormone imbalances, the elephant in the room is definitely this hormone right here. Hyperinsulinemia causes inflammation in the brain, leading to symptoms of brain fog and anxiousness. It leads to sugar crashes, exhaustion, mood swings, a lot of that hangriness that we can experience. This is all due to potentially hyperinsulinemia. Balanced blood sugar and insulin is the name of the game when it comes to a healthy metabolism and healthy brain function. And I'll be sharing a little bit about what we can do there. And then last but not least, your key sex hormones are up to bat. This is estrogen and progesterone. They are not only key to reproductive health, they are also extremely critical for mood stability and brain health. Your brain loves estrogen and progesterone, and it's used to a flooding of these two hormones during your menstrual cycle, more aptly known as your ovulatory cycle. So during the follicular phase of your ovulatory cycle, estrogen floods the brain, driving you to be more outgoing, energized, sharp, flirty, and confident. Then in the second part of the luteal phase, or the ovulatory cycle, the luteal phase, when progesterone is surging, you are going to feel more relaxed, creative, inward, and nurturing. And this happens every single month for decades as your hormones cycle through your ovulatory menstrual cycle, right? But these two critical hormones precipitously drop during perimenopause, as I talk a lot about on the show. And when that happens, you're going to experience a mental and emotional shift. And it's something that we don't talk enough about. Your brain can feel at a loss when less and less of these hormones are flooding your neurons, because your brain has been used to this consistent cycle of estrogen and progesterone for many, many, many years. As it starts to shift to having less of these hormones, you are going to feel the change. Now, it's important that we recognize it, because when these two hormones shift, and maybe you've got a thyroid issue, or maybe you've got a stress issue, or an insulin resistance issue, it can really feel like the wheels fall off. It's like as if these two hormones, these sex hormones, were the last protection you had left. And when they start to fall, you really, really, really feel it. And that's when, when we add that chronic stress in, when we are overscheduled or we're beyond busy, it's just a recipe for brain fog and less emotional resilience. When we are in that survival mode and we have less and less of estrogen and progesterone, we don't have as much of those good feel-good chemicals that we really rely on, which is dopamine and serotonin. Now, both of these chemicals are vital to stabilizing our mood, managing our emotions, and getting proper sleep. But when we start to lose estrogen and progesterone, it's a major reshaping, it's a major shifting in the way that our brain is working. Now, what I want to share is that as your levels of estrogen and progesterone naturally decline, your brain and your body do find a new balance in midlife. And there's a lot of different tricks and tools that we have at our disposal to really ensure that we navigate that really well. And if you want to dive deeper into that, like at even deeper level, because today is just a podcast episode, I have a whole mega chapter on cognitive function in perimenopause and midlife in my EO Menopause book. I also talk about thyroid health, liver health, and the shift and changes of these two important sex hormones if you just want the greater picture of what is going down. But today I want to share some ways in which that you can pivot while these shifts and changes are happening with your hormones, especially the decline of these two sex hormones, estrogen and progesterone. In many of the episodes, I always talk about how we've got to pivot as our bodies are pivoting if we want to feel great in midlife, right? That is just the way it is. So what I want to do is share some of the biggest needle movers for pivoting, whether you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond. And mind you, a lot of the recommendations I'm going to give you are really beneficial no matter what phase in your life you're in. But I want to start with probably the biggest one, which is going to be sleep, right? By far, the worst brain fog I've ever experienced, again, was this past year and a half because sleep was an afterthought. I am still recovering from sleep deprivation. And honestly, if it wasn't for healthy eating and getting outside in nature and supplements, I don't think I would have the capacity to even do 2 podcasts a week, let alone be a mama I want to be to Kingston, or just show up in the world the way that I want to show up. Sleep deprivation is a major stressor and it messes with everything, especially your brain. We all know that the body recovers when we sleep, but our brain needs sleep most of all. If we don't get deep restful sleep, our brain can't clean up the dangerous amyloid proteins that are left along with the other waste byproducts of metabolic function that our neurons are dealing with and running with all day long. A lack of sleep also keeps cortisol levels elevated, which continues the stress cycle, right? That ain't doing us any favors. When you aren't sleeping, your hormones will stay in balance, which will make you feel even more foggy, right? That word recall, kiss it goodbye, because that's what's going to happen when you're not sleeping well. So I want you to treat sleep like you have a 7 to 9 hour $1 million appointment that you cannot miss. The best recommendations for sleep is to honor a consistent sleep routine. Just like we have sleep routines for babies and children, guess what? We need sleep routines too. So I want you to be consistent with your bedtime and your bedtime routine. I want you to take time to wind down every single night by reading or meditating or a bath. Use dim halogen lighting. Remove all the blue and green light from your room. Have the blackout curtains up so that you can help to naturally boost melatonin levels. And if you need a little bit of sleep help, I recommend trying a sleep supplement, one that's got some really great herbs like passion flower, lemon balm, chamomile, valerian, a little bit of melatonin. When I curated my Zen Sleep supplement, I wanted to ensure that it really took in a lot of those beautiful, soothing, calming, adaptogenic herbs and ensuring that you had L-theanine in it, right? And that you had melatonin so that your brain would ease into deep, restful sleep. This has been such a game changer for so many people. It's absolutely worth trying. Also, I love essential oils for sleep as well. Lavender, cedarwood, and Roman chamomile are some of my favorites. We actually use this combination for ourselves in Kingston every single night, and it works. Again, just have a solid sleep routine that works for you. I have a sleep meditation that I do every single night that by the time I'm done, I am completely asleep. That works for me. So just find what works that's going to get the job done for you. Number 2 is going to be movement, right? If you don't move it, you're going to lose it. And it is true when in relation to brain function. Now, while too much intense exercise may be overly stressful on the body and the brain, driving cortisol and blood sugar spikes, low impact exercise will actually decrease the amount of cortisol in your system and help to boost brain function. So walking, yoga, tai chi, dancing, getting where you fit in, whatever move works for you, hiking. This is going to help not only bring oxygen to the brain and nutrients to the brain, but also it's going to keep you sharp. It's going to keep you going. It's going to help support circadian rhythms and mitochondrial function. The more that you can move outside, the better, especially for your brain health. So just keep moving every single day, some level of movement, whether it's stretching or yoga, just getting where you fit in. Number 3, balancing your blood sugar. Since insulin resistance is a major player here for brain fog, cravings, and mood swings, being hangry, energy crashes, right? It is important to share how to balance blood sugar. Now, I know I have many episodes on this topic, but when it comes down to it, it's about eating the trifecta of hormone-loving foods. It's about protecting that liver, feeding that gut, and balancing that blood sugar. So protein is a major player here, right? Protein is going to help blunt a blood sugar spike. Healthy fats like avocado, nuts and seeds, olive oil, these are great, coconut oil, fatty fish like salmon, just incorporating those. We are eating a lot of salmon and fish here. I'm in Hawaii right now, actually. I'm actually recording this on the floor. My mic is on the couch and I'm in the bedroom in the middle of the day getting this done because, well, one, love you, and I always want to make sure that I am doing my best to get content out to you. This is the quietest place in the hotel room that we're staying at. Baby K is with my husband Alex at the pool right now, and they're just super enjoying a beautiful day here in Kauai. But again, a lot of our meals we're cooking. We have a big kitchen, so we are cooking lots of fish, eating lots of veggies, avocado, olive oil, nuts and seeds. We are hitting the 3 trifecta here, right? Fiber found in veggies are the best for keeping your blood sugar balance, especially you're going to get that and soluble fiber that's going to just do great for your gut and for your blood sugar levels. And then walking after meals is also a great way to manage blood sugar. And also focusing on foods that are not filled with sugar or processed ingredients. So the goal here is to keep it as minimally processed as possible. I'm talking about your meats, I'm talking about your fats, I'm talking about your veggies and your fruits. Like, that's what's up. Other impactful tools that can really help to move the needle is incorporating apple cider vinegar before a meal. I have good friends at Paleo Valley make a great apple cider vinegar supplement that you can take before meals. I like to take it in the morning to help support my metabolism. Or take 500 milligrams of berberine before a meal, about 30 minutes before a meal. I usually like to, I'm not taking berberine right now because I'm still breastfeeding, but normally if I wasn't breastfeeding, I would take my 500 milligrams of berberine, and I would do my digestive enzyme about 30 to 40 minutes before whatever meal I'm about to have. And I'm super excited. I know I've mentioned this. We had to push back the release of my newest supplement after many, many months in the making. My glucose support supplement, which is a fully herbal supplement designed to curb blood sugar spikes, balance blood sugar overall, and insulin levels. We're going to have a limited release at the end of June, about a month from now. And I promise to let you know the week we release it so you can try out this epic herbal blend, ideal for supporting healthy insulin and glucose metabolism. So I've been so committed to this journey for the last year, and I am so excited to finally get this out to the world because I know it's going to make a huge difference in overall insulin, blood sugar metabolism, but also to help ward off some of those crazy sugar spikes that we can have when we eat, again, processed foods or carbohydrates or sugar, whatever it may be, whatever you're consuming that you know is going to raise your blood sugar, this is going to be really wonderful to help blunt it. I want to move to number 4, which is supplements for your hormones and your brain. Nutrient deficiencies that drive hormonal imbalances and deprive the brain of key building blocks are easy to correct, thank goodness. And they are guaranteed to be a great fix for brain fog the fastest. That's why I love supplements that really move the needle while you're working on your lifestyle rituals and habits over time. Now, the biggest nutrient deficiencies I see in women that can really take a toll on your ability to think are magnesium, B vitamins, vitamin D, and vitamin C. Incorporating these daily is sure to restore energy, help you sleep better, and get your hormones back in balance while supporting clear thinking. Now, other supplements that I love that the Essentially Whole line carries, probably the number one that I'm obsessed with, that I don't talk enough about, is my Neuro Plus Support. Now, this is a female-focused brain supplement that is a specially selected combination of nutrients that your brain needs for healthy, clear thinking, mood, and memory. Now, what I love most about Neuro Support is the focus on calming the HPA axis, along with a focus on optimizing healthy cognition, mood, and memory. It contains a comprehensive array of brain-boosting nutrients, including acetyl L-carnitine, phosphatidylserine, ginkgo biloba, citicoline, and it includes this very unique coffee fruit concentrate extracted from the whole coffee cherry, including the flesh of the berry that surrounds the coffee bean and contains several distinct compounds not found in coffee beans themselves. So it's not caffeine, it's all of these polyphenols and antioxidants that reduce the oxidative stress in the brain. Now, again, I don't talk about the supplement enough, but it is powerful at supporting the brain's natural regeneration and repair process of cell membranes of our neurons, along with memory formation. Now, I'm going to have the link to Neuro Support in the show notes, so you can go and check it out. The other one that is a major game changer, and I love taking these together, is going to be Adrenal Love. Again, we're dealing with the HPA axis, but what I also love about Adrenal Love is it not only helps to manage cortisol levels, but it helps to boost mitochondrial energy naturally. So the combination of Adrenal Love and Neuro Support is hands down a phenomenal combo if you are feeling super foggy, unfocused, unmotivated. These are the combination, and even exhausted. The other one that I love is progesterone, natural progesterone. So if you're in the end stages of perimenopause or even heading into menopause and you are feeling like mood is off, you're feeling edgy, your sleep is in the crapper, you're not able to focus, progesterone, a natural bioidentical progesterone like my Forgetful Restore, which I love in that serum form, is amazing. Man, it will take the edge off. It will get you to sleep at night. It is a game changer. My mom just called me up yesterday and she's like, I need more. I need more Forgetful Restore immediately. And she knows I'm here, but I had the warehouse send her a bottle ASAP, because she has been using it for over a year now and has just really taken the edge off of just that overwhelm that she's felt, the sleep issues that she's had with her new job. It's just been a lot, and the Forgetful Restore has been a game change for her. So even though it can feel like a lot is working against your brain health, there is so much that we can consciously do to improve our memory, focus, and concentration so that we feel sharp for many, many years to come. And these same lifestyle recommendations and tools will also benefit other areas of the body as well. So what I always recommend is start with something that feels easy, whether it is committing to a supplement that feels like it's going to change the game for you, or a sleep routine, or focus on the thing that you know will have you feeling better faster. Like, what's the thing that you want to work on and improve upon that you know is going to make the biggest difference for you? For me, I kept moving my body, taking my supplements for my brain, and eventually focusing back on my sleep once we got Kingston in the crib. And I was consistent because I knew that if I was going to continue to do interviews, I was going to continue to do anything, I needed my brain to be functional. And that just meant consistency. So I hope that that's the big takeaway from this is, one, yes, your hormones are involved. Two, there's a lot that we can do even though your hormones are maybe imbalanced. One, looking at them individually, or adopting some wonderful lifestyle recommendations that are going to move the needle. And then there's specific things that we can do to help bolster and boost brain productivity and brain function. And I hope that's what you got from this today. So again, thank you so much for listening to the Essentially You podcast. This show is all about providing tools to rock your hormones and feel amazing in your body. Now, if there's someone in your life that needs to hear this today, as I mentioned earlier, take a moment, screenshot this episode and send it to them, or share it on social. That way we continue to spread the word about hormone literacy. And if you do share on social, hashtag Hormone CEO. Until the next episode, when I'm back home, have an amazing day.